Hello, everybody. Melissa Simonson here, and welcome to Amaze on Stream. Today, I'm really excited to introduce you guys to Adrian Garcia, who is the president of Terraba. Adrian, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to have you.
Great to see you. Thank you for the opportunity. Excited to talk a little bit about Amazon, e-commerce, and a bunch of other fun stuff.
Me too. I'm so excited to dive in. Now, something that I have been really excited about doing recently with our partners is getting to know them as people. I think oftentimes, you know, with service providers and stuff, it's easy to see the company and not really connect with the humans behind the logo. So I want to learn a little bit about you. In terms of entrepreneurship, is that something that you have always had, like sort of in your blood? Did you have that present as a kid, or how did that come about?
Well, technically, I'm a first-generation entrepreneur, although parts of my family came on a boat from Europe, part from Italy, part from Spain at some point 100 years ago, hundreds of years ago, not that far ago actually, but yeah. Based in Costa Rica, which is where I am right now. And the journey as an entrepreneur has been an unexpected one for me, but a positive one. I had a first stage in my career working in consulting and advising companies in Latin America on how to grow and find business opportunities and acquire companies and so on. Then I had the chance, a really amazing chance to study at MIT in Boston, a remarkable place where you see a bunch of innovation, new things, and how this innovation is applied to problems we all face and organizations, companies, nations. So a couple of years after MIT, I co-founded my first company in another field, in investments, and so I had the chance to look at new companies, new ideas in that other stage of my career. And then Terraba is also an interesting story that I can tell you about.
Yeah, the name is very interesting. I'm actually interested to learn, how did you guys decide to name it Terraba?
Yeah, let me tell you that in the latter part of this intervention. So I have a very good friend who's actually has the same name as myself, Adrian, and he is a very successful seller on Amazon after doing, like myself, other things in his career. At the time when the company was started, I didn't know much about selling on Amazon. I remember that I opened my Amazon account in 2001 when I was living in Austin, Texas. When I was
that's
there.
Early for sellers now, like that's back in the dinosaur stages.
yeah I remember they had I guess books, electronics. I used to buy DVDs, music albums, but it was really the first decade or the early days of Amazon. And so fast forward many years later, and coming to the US or to a country that utilizes technology a lot more than where I live, I was fascinated by this idea of selling stuff online. So back in the day, in 2001 or 2 or 3, I don't know, I opened my first eBay account and I started doing reselling of Costa Rican coffee, which is a wonderful product that is sold around the world through eBay. So I was really fascinated by this idea that on a website you can source your own products and sell them online and maybe earn extra money for you or your family or something like that. So that was a long time ago. So I had this idea that was really fascinating for me. And how do you, without any intermediaries, sell stuff online, right? Yeah. Stuff that people are looking for. So yes, so I have this a friend who's very successful on Amazon, and I told him, hey, I'm really intrigued by this whole e-commerce world, Amazon, and so on. I know folks around Latin America, so how about I introduce you to a bunch of those companies and you start advising them in how to sell on Amazon, and that's how the company was started. Terraba here, same as Amazon is the largest river basin in the world, Terraba is the largest river basin in our country where the company was started in Costa Rica. It's a river that starts up in the mountains, in the highest mountain, and flows to the Pacific Ocean. So that's why sort of the analogy of the river basin in our country of origin. Yeah, that was my unexpected second part of my entrepreneurial journey, and a really interesting one, an area of wonderful opportunity that people are taking advantage of around the world, and service providers and technology companies such as Eva. Everyone's helping out so that people do better, do well, and that's really what we do.
So tell me how you went from, chatting with your very successful Amazon seller friend about being interested in this and having your own experience selling on eBay. How did you get from there to then having your own successful, ideas and turning that into Terraba?
Yeah, great question. So this idea that this remarkable moment that I had decades ago, again, without intermediaries, where you can list a product, sell them to a person, a happy customer that was not able to source that product wherever they would shop, and having this person be a happy customer after this experience was remarkable. So the company was started under this premise that how about we provide thousands of opportunities for happy customers or potentially happy customers where they find products that they like, and are actually delivered to them fast and so on with the technologies that, for example, Amazon provides. That's from a customer point of view, and then from the seller point of view, there are a lot of small businesses not just in Latin America where I'm based, but in various places in the US, in Europe, everywhere around the world. There's really interesting folks that produce cool products, good products, different things, but they lack the knowledge in how to access international markets, and especially with technology tools or marketplaces such as Amazon. So we wanted to really take this advantage of this knowledge that we had or Adrian in the beginning had before we grew this little team of experts, so that we could really utilize this advantage. So as sellers, companies, sometimes big factories, very big companies that would sell hundreds of millions of dollars around the world, they didn't know how to sell online, and they didn't even have a department or an e-commerce person or
And that's still, by the way, like there's still big brands that are not selling well online because they just have not picked up the tides of the time, I guess.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it's because after helping out dozens of companies in various countries, really all throughout the continent, from Canada all the way down to Argentina and on virtually every country in the middle, an e-commerce project on Amazon or other marketplaces is a complex project. You are dealing with stuff related to logistics, to sourcing, prices, marketing, packaging, to name a few, right? So it's not just something that you tell your e-commerce person, hey, sell more of our stuff online. It really is a project that touches almost every angle of the company. So in a lot of cases, the project of selling on Amazon that we started with some customers really allow them to get closer to the future, I guess, or become a little bit more modern in the ways they would take advantage of growth opportunities, such as selling internationally, selling abroad, selling on Amazon with technology. And so the work that we do, Amazon account management is something that a lot of people do around the world, but it's really a combination of experts and this cultural affinity, this sort of speaking the same language, understanding with a lot of empathy what is actually the problem of why, or the challenge of why are these companies not selling online. Let me give you one example to end. There's a really successful company in Costa Rica that sells tuna. So really premium, high quality tuna and other types of fish that they sell in really nice glass jars. So they have been selling this product on Whole Foods and a bunch of really interesting places, but they didn't sell on Amazon. So we talked to the owner and told him, so why aren't you on Amazon? And he's like, well, I'm not really sure, but we should. And I'm like, yeah, you should. And then fast forward the story a couple of years later, now he's selling a lot on this marketplace, almost to the
Right.
point where it has substituted or replaced traditional retail channels, right?
Wow.
So just that it's not that people don't want to do it or don't recognize that it's complex. It's just that they don't have the right help, because
Right.
otherwise you'll spend a lot of money in experts, technology, courses, knowledge, but
Yeah.
so in the end, someone has to do it, right? So, and that's really what we do. And after a couple of years, I'm really happy that starting with this idea, to your question, we have evolved into having this little company of a couple of dozen experts that provide this help to customers that are selling products like tuna, keto-friendly cookies, chocolates, Colombian bathing suits, really nice pajamas, shoes from Argentina, healthy snacks from Canada, furniture from Mexico. So much of medium-sized or large-sized companies that have good products, and now with our help and with the help of tools and software like Eva, are managing and growing successful projects on Amazon. So we are happy because this is something that companies they were not looking for this.
Mm-hmm.
It was really ourselves that approached them and told them about the potential opportunity of selling online, selling on Amazon, and now they're selling more, and that's great because the outcome is that more revenue is more jobs for more people, more innovation within these corporations, more opportunities taken advantage of, and this philosophical idea of getting closer to the future, right? Sort
Right.
of really becoming more modern in the ways they at least sell and develop products for the internet.
I mean, that's so well said. I want to clarify a couple points. So, I think you answered what exactly Terraba does. You guys help manage Amazon stores, and especially people who are successful with their products, but may not feel comfortable going on to Amazon themselves. You approach them and help them get started and manage their store for them. And it sounds like you do that across any category, because you're doing foods, you're doing, swimsuits. So if
Yeah.
someone is listening and they have a product, maybe they need help with it, or maybe they just want another set of eyes on it. Maybe they don't want to do Amazon, but they're on other channels and they just want someone to take that part of it off their plate. What would that look like when they approach you? How does that look?
Sure, certainly. So another part that I forgot to mention, but it's an important one. Amazon has a huge office in Costa Rica, almost 20,000 folks that work here, providing seller support,
Right.
multi-language support.
When you
And
say here, let's clarify real
in
quick for the
Costa
people
Rica,
listening.
sorry.
Costa
Yeah.
Rica has a
So based
giant,
in Costa Rica,
it's
and
a
so
big hub for actual Amazon HQ people,
there
right?
is a fairly large operation. I think we're pretty much under the radar, but 18,000 folks is the size of a small-sized town, right?
Right.
Or medium-sized town. And so we have been able to hire all of our employees are former Amazon employees that have worked and have been trained by Amazon itself in that local operation. Those headquarters are based here in the capital city of Costa Rica.
Mm-hmm.
So this expert group of folks, we provide help in nascent, so new sellers, so folks that have already made the decision that they want to sell on Amazon and they don't know how to start. So we help them out in how do you open the account, how do you select from your catalog of products that you produce or can produce, the best ones to send to Amazon in the first stage. We create their listings, sort of the page where you see the details of the product, the photographs, descriptions, videos, the storefronts, and basically everything that they need to have ready so that they can ship the first box or couple of boxes or container of products to an Amazon fulfillment center. Normally, we take care of absolutely everything, and because again, people seek our help because they don't know how to do it. So at the minimum, we do need, for example, photographs from the products. That's something that we certainly need from the customer, and then the actual shipment of the products, right? But that's sort of when the client doesn't want to get involved or cannot get involved, we very simply say, okay, send us the products and the descriptions, and we'll take care of the listings, and we'll let you know how many units or what color, what size, if it applies, you need to send to Amazon for first shipment. That's sort of one extreme, and then there's another extreme where, as you mentioned, there are folks that have been selling on Amazon already. They probably started in their own garage or as a small business with a friend, with a partner. And now the business is getting bigger, right? They have thousands of dollars in daily sales. They need to respond to customers. They need to be replenishing inventory, tackling the reviews, calibrating the ads, and sort of the more complex areas of an already ongoing Amazon project. And we help out those folks too, that basically need a hand because the entrepreneur or the small business cannot handle the project on their own. And it's either not effective or too expensive to hire a full-time person to do that. So they hire us so that we can provide them with help. And then everything in the middle. So there's folks that start with us and learn a lot. And now with their enhanced knowledge, are able to provide even more insight to the work that we are doing the day-to-day basis. And basically, managing the Amazon, the selling on Amazon project for folks from small companies, literally on a garage, to large factories with sites in various countries that need expert help so that they can sell in this channel. Yeah.
So I have to imagine with the very different sizes of sellers that can come to you, and the varying needs that they each have. Your pricing structure is probably going to be fluid, right? It's going to depend on their needs. Do you have different levels of service packages that you offer for different types of sellers? How does that work if someone's looking at this sounds like it might be for me, but I don't know.
No, it's excellent observation. We have iterated on this over the years, but I think people really like simplicity, right? And as I was describing, a project to sell online or sell on Amazon includes many things during various months. So we have a very simple pricing structure where we charge customers a monthly fee, and they have a person and a group of specialists that dedicates a portion of their time to provide them with help in their Amazon project. Only when the company has a much larger size in the form of sales or SKUs or marketplaces open, then we have something that adjusts to a heightened workload. But it's really super simple, a monthly fee that customers pay us to do the work so that they can start to sell on Amazon or sell more, or at least manage what they currently have and not sell less, right? In an extreme negative scenario. Otherwise, it's, I guess, very complex, and it's one of the challenges that maybe some of the listeners have. They think about, oh, should I hire a freelancer from India or from Philippines, or a couple of hours here and there, and maybe add some software here, but it becomes very complex, right? I think the entrepreneur that is developing a product or a group, a family of products, should be focusing on the intellectual property, the product itself, right? How do I create something that is even more competitive, new versions, and innovating in the actual product and the design of it, right? Not necessarily having to be checking the ads every day or the pictures or sort of the more mundane, ordinary things. That's what we normally take off their plate, so that they can focus on the complex things, and that's why we decided and currently have a super simple one monthly fee pricing structure, and has been actually much easier for folks to understand. As I was saying, this is something new. This is something different than that companies start to do with us or on their own. So if you would have a complex pricing structure or something that they cannot start to understand, then it's much more complex or much more difficult. So that has worked for us over the years, and especially because we have customers in various countries. So it would be tricky to have different prices for different countries and different geographies and different sizes.
Sure.
So one size fits all.
That it sounds like it's the right it sounds like it's the right way to go, especially, you know, sometimes you think about these kinds of things like with different pricing structures, and there's all kinds of schools of thought on pricing, especially for like a full service type service situation. I think that, you know, the proof is in the pudding, right? Once you have changed to a thing and you start doing that and the customers love you for it and they convert better, I think that's probably the proof that you need, that people want a very simple structure. So it sounds like you guys made the right call. Is there anything that you want to add that we should let Amazon sellers know about? Maybe about the current climate, about news from Amazon, anything like that that you want to share with the listeners?
Well, I think Amazon, as everyone knows, continues to evolve, create more products, more opportunities, will probably open up more marketplaces. In the recent Amazon Accelerate conference for sellers, there were a couple of really cool announcements in that direction. But I think my message is that Amazon is and will become increasingly complex, right? You hear all these videos and folks that are doing some money online or selling on Amazon, and that's great as a sort of first motivation to start doing it. But then once you start doing it, it is really highly complex, highly competitive, and you need to be ready for it, because otherwise it can become highly frustrating to source from products from China and buy a couple of software tools and open up your account, and then you don't sell that much, right? Because you are swimming in an ocean of thousands, if not millions, of sellers selling similar products or trying to get the attention of customers, to speak more generally. Sellers, new ones or seasoned ones, especially the seasoned ones, know this. They need to be prepared. They need to hire the best. They need to have the best tools, because it's a highly competitive game. Otherwise, it can be a little frustrating to try to do it all yourself. I'm sure there are people that can learn on their own and do great things themselves, right? But they quickly realize that they need tools for this, for that, a little bit of help here, help there, so that they can really focus and hone in on the product, right? Which is I think what Spears said. The project, what directs what gives the direction of the project going forward, right? The uniqueness, the value prop that you provide to customers in your own product, and that, I think it's really hard to outsource or to contract out. It's really the entrepreneur, the seller, the company that is selling on Amazon that needs to give this a lot of thought, a lot of research, so that they can come up with something that is attractive and can sell a lot on Amazon and other marketplaces.
Excellent advice. I think it's definitely true that, you know, the more you dive in, the more you realize, like, oh, I need this tool, and oh, now I need this other tool so that I can manage this other side of things, and it starts to really add up. So I think, you know, it's definitely great to have solutions like yours out there where people can say, you know, I want to be involved, but I don't want to be like always in charge. I want the ship to keep on going even when I'm on vacation or when I'm, you know, not steering the ship in that moment. So I really appreciate you being on the podcast today. How do people get in touch with you if they wanted to reach out?
Yeah, well, we have a website, and it's really, really simple, www.terra.ba. So that's Terraba with a dot in the middle, terra.ba. And you can contact us there. We'd love to help out in your projects. And one thing I forgot to mention is that I think there's a lot of opportunity in cross-border e-commerce, right? Sort of exporting
Definitely.
to new markets. Majority of the sellers, I guess, of the volume is people from the US selling on Amazon.com, and that's great. But I leave this message here to sellers so that they continue to explore new markets, right? How about I sell in the UK or Amazon Mexico, or new opportunities where maybe, yes, the volume is lower, but since there's less availability of alternatives, then maybe it's an opportunity for your projects or your products to be successful in other places, in unexpected places. So
That's really an excellent point. I'm glad that you brought that in before we wrapped up, because I think that's one of the things that, a couple of years ago, maybe 2018 or so, we hosted an event, or sorry, Empowery hosted an event in London. And we were talking at that time, back in 2018, about, how the German market at that time was sort of like Amazon US 2015, which was like, the Wild West, everybody's making money, everything is wonderful. And then, people who were joining the German market in 2018, 2019, it seemed very similar, where, their products were skyrocketing because there weren't as many sellers. It wasn't as tough of competition because that was a still growing market. And it sounds like you're saying that's true for some of these others as well.
Yes, I mean, the natural progression that we have seen with customers is that, yes, you start on the main one, the .com. Since you have the account, it's really easy to, Amazon has a lot of tools to sell in Mexico and Canada, North and South, very simple. And then, yeah, you get some help or do it yourself, and you attempt to sell in Amazon Brazil, Japan, Western Europe, and I mean, there's certain calibrations of language and things you need to do, but they're relatively easy. And then you find new alternatives, right? So that you can add additional income to your company, explore new opportunities, find new customer needs that can then actually go back to the main market where you can do more innovation. So the percentage of sales around the world that are currently done by e-commerce is still very low. And if you imagine the convenience, the broad portfolio of things that you can buy, it will continue to make sense for a lot of many years, with the exception of maybe buying a nice pizza on a Friday night that I'm sure you cannot yet get it on Amazon, right? So, but e-commerce is still incredibly nascent, I think, in my opinion, especially in international markets. So there's wide opportunity for folks to continue to explore more opportunity.
I love it. I love it, because it means, more entrepreneurs in the world. It's just better for the world. And when things are working out for entrepreneurs, I know you guys are trying to help them be successful. We at Eva try and help them be successful. The more of that there is, the more entrepreneurs can succeed. And with that, I honestly think the more entrepreneurs are in the world, the better off the world is, because entrepreneurs are solvers, they're thinkers, they're doers.
I agree. And I think that entrepreneurs are moved by a bigger purpose, more than just making money. I mean, you have to pay your bills and ideally provide jobs and continue to grow innovative organizations. But really, yeah, what you said is true. I think that the more, the better. I agree.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Adrian. We really appreciate you being on Amaze on Stream. And for you guys listening, don't forget, we will have the link posted below for you to get in contact with Adrian and his team at Terraba. Thanks so much, Adrian.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Cheers, guys. We'll see you next time.